They entertained a lot. Writers, painters, but mainly, Yiddish speakers for the most part. Not always, but for the most part, I would say Yiddish was the language spoken. But lots of people, and I grew up knowing painters and writers. To me, that was not at all a strange thing to grow up and be a painter. Yeah, the house was always full. This apartment was covered floor to ceiling with artwork that my father and mother, but mainly my father, got from artists. Most of it is off the walls now to make room for my paintings. Yuk, Russian painter, very important to Russian early 20th century art. These are Abraham Wolkowitz drawings of Isadora Duncan. For my graduation present in high school, I had my portrait painted by Moses Sawyer. But I remember painters, Chaim Gross. I remember people like Tenenbaum always coming to visit and having something wrapped up in paper, and it would be a painting that he would sell to my father. I mean, they traded stuff. If my father wrote an article, for example, about Chaim Gross, in the forewords, Chaim Gross would reciprocate by giving him a work. I mean, that's just how they did it then. It was a barter thing. I remember Mane-Katz coming. I mean, Mane-Katz lived in France, but he had a show actually at Wildenstein. And he was very childlike. He began making like spitballs out of the bread and throwing them at us, and we had like this bread fight. More my brother, because Henry was younger. I was a little bit more restrained then. In one of my father's books, Dem Rot von Mazel, there are, Mane-Katz did special illustrations just for the book. '86th Street is called Isaac Bashevis Singer Boulevard. He lived in this building on the 6th floor, and actually my father was very instrumental in getting him the apartment. I remember Bashevis. We used to take care of his parakeets when he traveled. My father made friendships with all kinds of people. Zero Mostel lived in the building. They were very close. They would walk around the courtyard together and go to, there was this cigar and cigarette store on Broadway then called Daniel's. They went to Daniel's together every morning. There were, I mean, that's it. I didn't even realize it at the time how special some of these people were. But, and I don't know that they were special in that came out here, but there was a kind of energy when people came over. People would talk a lot, and it was very nice. And I think a lot of that was in Yiddish, and I understood it. So I must have, I did understand it. It's just I would speak to them in English. But I mean, I have great memories of all these people. This is Benjamin Kaufman, Enrico Glitzenstein, printmaker, Arbit Latas, another Mane-Katz. These would be the kind of things that would capture his heart and his interest. And as you can see, I've kept up the tradition of collecting things.